Prepaid petrol stations, they're really annoying. Someone just emailed in and said they don't have them at all in Christchurch. Is that true? Anyway, how can you predict how much it'll cost to fill your car up before you fill it? The oil companies say that prepay is essential to reduce drive-off fuel theft, a problem that costs service stations, many of which are, we must remember, family-owned franchises, millions of dollars a year. But some motorists say the prepay system isn't just annoying, it can be racist too. So is there really racism at the prepay pump? Just from Clayton investigates.
Does she eat heaps?
Scrambled egg for lunch and...
At home in his central Auckland villa, Ryan Tare is the picture of the enlightened modern man. But a week earlier, he and partner Moa had been on the receiving end of what they believe was a very primitive form of discrimination.
So I walked in, and he told me to pay for it first. So, and then as I was walking in, two other people pulled up, put their pump straight in their car and started pumping away. And, yeah.
What was the difference? Why do you? What
apart from like the obvious like skin colour, that was about it.
It happened here at his local petrol station. Despite wanting to fill his car and then pay, the attendant insisted Ryan pay first. In itself, there's nothing wrong with this. After all, the fact the pumps are on prepay is clear for all to see. But what upset and angered Ryan was that customers with fairer complexions were allowed to fill first, pay later.
Yeah, in fact, they didn't even need to go in. They were just waved at, basically.
It wasn't the first time Ryan felt he'd been the victim of racism at a petrol station, but in his mind it was the most blatant. So is this racism, or just an understandable precaution at a time of increasing fuel theft? We decided to find out.
The first step was to identify those petrol stations that insisted Ryan prepay. It wasn't hard. At an inner city Gull station, Ryan first tries to signal the attendant to take it off prepay. When that doesn't work, he politely asks,
Hey mate, is it sweet to get the pump going?
Prepay.
Oh, is it prepay?
Yeah.
Okay, just go grab the card.
Ryan was relaxed and friendly, but no, the attendant insists Ryan pays before he fills up. And when we meet up after, we learn that what our cameras saw was only half of what actually happened.
There's a V-dub pulled up after me, and they went straight into it, and I had to go on and he said, oh, it's prepaid.
Our next petrol station is a Caltex, just around the corner. At this one, there's no mucking around. The attendant immediately signals that Ryan must prepay.
Hey mate, oh hang on, I need to actually get my wallet.
Station number 3 is a mobile. There's no problem here. The attendant immediately takes the pump off prepay and Ryan fills before he pays. Right next door at Z Energy, it's a different story. Again, he signals with a friendly wave, but this time there's no response. So he goes inside.
Is it okay to chuck some petrol in?
Yeah, no, you have to pay first.
I have to pay first?
Yeah.
Our final station is another mobile, but this time Ryan is out of luck. So 5 service stations, and all but one insisted Ryan prepay.
Again, this in itself isn't a problem. All the petrol stations were on prepay, so really the attendants were just following their rules. But what happens when a fair-skinned Pākehā New Zealander goes to the same stations at the same time? Do the same rules still apply?
I decide to give it a go myself. But don't worry, not only will I be driving the same car, I'll also be wearing the same clothes and the same cap. First stop, the Gull. Like Ryan, gesturing from the pump doesn't work.
Just fill it up.
But when I go to the door, I get a very different reaction.
Oh, just fill it up, please. Yep. Thanks.
The pump is immediately taken off prepay and I'm free to fill to my heart's content. Next up, it's the Caltex. Again, signalling from the pump doesn't work, but unlike Ryan, when I go to the door, a solution is found.
Hey mate, just want to fill it up.
Yeah, it's coming number 2, mate.
OK, I had to go to another pump, but he still took it off prepay for me. At the Z Energy, it's even easier.
I just fill it up.
Prepay? What prepay? And finally, the mobile.
And private insurers and relate to
Excuse me, mate.
This time I do have to go inside, but once at the counter,
I'm to the pump insurance. I want to fill it right to the top. Can I fill it first? Pay for number 2, yeah. Thanks.
the attendant is happy to take it off prepay for me. So while 4 out of 5 stations insisted Ryan prepay, not one of them had any problem taking prepay off for me. And that's despite driving the same car at the same time of day and wearing exactly the same clothes and cap.
How did that feel at the time?
Oh, I was fuming. Wasn't happy at all. You know, just to be treated like that. But no, you know, surely this isn't, you know, this isn't what kind of society we live in. You know, where people are judged and on their skin colour and stuff.
Just from Clayton reporting, it's fascinating, eh? So 4 from 5 versus none from 5. We approached all 5 major oil companies for their response. None would appear on camera, but all sent us fairly similar statements saying they didn't condone racism in any form. They also said insisting on prepay was at the discretion of individual station owners who'd based their decision on previous drive-offs, access to main roads and a number of other, and I quote, risk assessments. We also asked new Race Relations Commissioner Susan Devoy for comment. Her office told us she was unavailable for interviews this week, and if Ryan was unhappy, he should complain to the Human Rights Commission.